You're rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy body full of tats.
This move is not without reason. The M1, Yamaha's current flagship motorcycle, has experienced a drastic decline in performance in recent seasons. Problems such as lack of power, weak mechanical traction, and poor acceleration in slow corners have become a problem every race weekend. Although sometimes impressive in qualifying sessions, during the race, its performance often declines. This was further exacerbated by the constant complaints of the 2021 world champion, Fabio Quartararo, who said the motorcycle was difficult to control, especially in the early laps and in low grip conditions, a situation that is now a characteristic of modern racing. The shift to the V4 engine marks a new chapter that Yamaha is working on very seriously. This project is led by Max Bartolini, a key technical figure who previously worked behind the scenes of Ducati's success. With a get-from-scratch approach, Yamaha's V4 is not just an engine transplant, but includes the redevelopment of the entire motorcycle. Starting from a new chassis, exhaust under the seat, slimmer rear aero design, to aerodynamic inspiration from KTM and Ducati. The concept is clearly aimed at addressing the M1's main weaknesses: straight-line speed, corner exit torque, and race-long performance. The V4 prototype has undergone private testing in Brno, Czech Republic. While lap times were not officially released, early results show positive progress, especially in terms of system validation and durability. Test rider Augusto Fernandez did clock a slower time than Alex Rins on the M1, but it's important to note that this testing hasn't yet reached its full performance limits. The bikes on test were seen carrying a variety of experimental elements such as gold-plated heat shields, different types of swing arms, optical sensors, and additional cooling vents on the fairing, all indicating a very active phase of technological exploration. And here's the full story. In the ever-evolving world of MotoGP dominated by high technology and super-tight competition, there is no room for stagnation. That is the hard lesson that Yamaha is now learning. For more than 2 decades, Yamaha has been known as a pioneer and guardian of the inline-4 engine heritage, a parallel engine configuration that has given birth to legendary motorcycles like the YZR M1. This engine is not just a racing tool, but a symbol of Yamaha's engineering philosophy, precision, agility, and stability in corners. However, that era is now in its twilight. Season after season, the M1 looks increasingly left behind by its rivals who have adopted the V4 engine. Ducati, KTM, and Aprilia all have chosen the V4 philosophy and are thriving. Their superiority in terms of power, acceleration out of slow corners, and overtaking ability on the straights makes the M1 look like a relic of the past. Moreover, Honda, which is struggling, still has the foundation of V4 technology to fix. Meanwhile, Yamaha seems trapped in a comfort zone, maintaining an old heritage that is no longer relevant on the modern battlefield. The peak of this crisis was expressed in the scathing comments of Fabio Quartararo, the 2021 world champion, who openly criticized the performance of the M1. He repeatedly complained about weak acceleration, minimal grip at the start of the race, and the difficulty of catching other bikes on the straight. "I can't attack. I just defend. This bike is no longer a winning bike," said Quartararo in one of the frustrated interviews. The voice of the world champion reflects the pressure from within that can no longer be ignored. Yamaha heard him. And finally, they took action. The first step was to recruit Max Bartolini, a technical figure who previously built the foundations of the successful Ducati des Mercedes. Bartolini was not just a chief engineer, he was an architect. Under his supervision, Yamaha began working on the most radical project in their modern history, a prototype V4 engine. But this project was more than just replacing the engine. It was a total transformation. The new bike was built from scratch. The more compact V4 engine allowed for a different chassis design, more aggressive aerodynamics, and more efficient heat management. The exhaust is now positioned under the seat, a V4 signature, while also eliminating old solutions like the mass damper that once required the M1. The swing arm area, front fairing, and cooling system have all been redesigned to accommodate the explosive yet uncontrollable power characteristics of the V4. The first test was conducted in secret at the Brno circuit in the Czech Republic. Augusto Fernandez, a test rider who was previously tied to KTM, was trusted to try out the bike in a closed session. Although Yamaha was reluctant to reveal official data, various leaked reports stated that the results were quite promising. The main focus in this test was not absolute speed, but system stability, durability, and the response of new components such as the rear aero device, optical sensors, and various types of swing arms. One of the most striking details is the gold-plated heat shield that shows how seriously Yamaha is addressing the thermal challenges of this new engine. Meanwhile, development of the M1 continues, especially in an effort to keep factory riders like Alex Rins and Miguel Oliveira motivated. Yamaha tried to make updates to the chassis, electronics and aerodynamics, but the results were still unable to change the fact that the M1 is a difficult bike to ride in real racing conditions. Yamaha is now at a crucial point in its history. They have invested heavily, recruited top experts, and even plan to expand the team structure through a collaboration with Pramac, which is rumored to move to Yamaha from 2026, allowing them to field 4 bikes, 2 factory and 2 satellite, like Ducati currently does. This strategy reflects the awareness that domination in modern MotoGP is not just about the speed of the bike, but also about the team network, data and collaboration between riders. This grand plan is apparently also key for Yamaha to retain Fabio Quartararo. Although disappointed, the world champion has extended his contract until the end of 2026, a decision that only makes sense if he is given guarantees about the future of the V4 project. Yamaha also understands that if they fail to deliver on this promise, Quartararo could leave, and that could be a bigger disaster by simply destroying the track. There is speculation that if the test results after the Misano GP on September 15 are successful, Augusto Fernandez might be given a wildcard opportunity to try the V4 bike at one of the final rounds of the 2025 season. That moment would be a historic moment, the end of the Inline-4 era and the birth of Yamaha's new identity in MotoGP. In the words of one Yamaha in-house engineer, this isn't just about a new bike. It's about saving our future. Yamaha knows it's playing catch-up to rivals who have been working on the V4 concept for years. But like any sleeping giant, once it awakens, the impact could be earth-shattering. Yamaha's main rider, Fabio Quartararo, has once again voiced his frustration with the performance of the YZR M1 motorcycle, which still relies on an inline-4 engine configuration. In recent seasons, particularly in the 2025 MotoGP, the French rider has increasingly struggled to compete at the front of the pack. Inconsistent results, a lack of podium finishes, and a string of failures in overtaking rival riders on straight sections of the track are concrete evidence of Quartararo's frustration with his bike's performance. After the race in Assen, the Netherlands, one of the classic tracks demanding sharp acceleration and high top speed, Quartararo didn't hold back. He openly compared his bike to rivals using V4 engine configurations such as Ducati, KTM, and Aprilia. "I'm tired of constantly being left behind on the straightaways," Fabio said with a disappointed tone. Every time I exit a corner and open the throttle, I see the other bikes immediately surge ahead. No matter how well I take the racing line or how hard I push in the corners, it all feels pointless." According to Quartararo, the inline-4 engine's characteristics do offer stability and agility in corners, but its weaknesses in acceleration and top speed are no longer tolerable. Today's race isn't just about smoothness in the corners. If your bike can't overtake on the straights, you lose a big opportunity. The V4 engine clearly has that advantage, stated the 2021 MotoGP world champion. Quartararo added that his failure to secure a podium finish in recent races was not entirely due to strategy or personal performance. He felt he had given his all on the bike, yet the results still did not reflect his efforts. "I've been pushing 100%. But when the bike's technology doesn't support you, it feels like fighting without weapons," he said. The 26-year-old rider also criticized Yamaha for seeming slow to make major innovations. He mentioned that he had repeatedly conveyed complaints and feedback to the manufacturer, but the changes made were always minor and did not address the core issue, the engine configuration, which is considered outdated compared to competitors. I know this isn't easy. Switching to AV4 engine means changing Yamaha's philosophy, which they've held for decades. But look at Ducati, KTM, even Aprilia. They've all taken bold steps and are now reaping the rewards. If Yamaha wants to return to the top, they can't keep clinging to old ways of thinking, he added. Many see Quartararo's comments as an ultimatum to Yamaha. With his contract set to expire at the end of next season, the nice-born rider could choose to move to another manufacturer with a more competitive engine if Yamaha doesn't make significant changes soon. MotoGP observers also note that Fabio's complaints aren't isolated. Some Yamaha engineers and former riders have been voicing the same concerns for years. However, Yamaha's loyalty to its inline-4 engine has always been cited as the reason for maintaining its development direction. Now, the big question arises, will Yamaha finally dare to abandon its legacy and build a new motorcycle with AV4 engine like its rivals? Or will it continue to cling to its old philosophy at the risk of losing its best rider? What is clear is that Fabio Quartararo's latest comments are a stark warning. It's not just about technical issues, but about Yamaha's future in the premier class of MotoGP. And if the riders themselves have reached the point of frustration, then this is not just a complaint, it's an alarm bell.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body.